Hi, I'm Abby Mashoff, and I'm going to be going over the body rituals of the Nasarima culture by Horace Minor, an anthropologist. And I'm going to start off with my reaction to the video, which was I was extremely shocked. The words Minor used in this to describe such cultures as sadistic and evil and mean and spiritual really changed, made us think that this was a terrible, god-awful culture, which made me think how important the words that we use and stuff can change our perception on things without having a complete understanding on them. For example, they talked about shrines and homes, meaning bathrooms. So the more shrines a home has, the richer they are. So the more bathrooms a place has, the richer they are, meaning probably that the house is bigger, which that's what richer means. It costs more money, bigger is better, and so forth. Another example that really caught me off guard was when it talked about women baking their heads. This was written closer to the 50s, so drying hair now in a hair salon is completely different. But when they were talking about baking heads is when they put the thing over the lady to let her highlights dry and such like that. But they said baking their heads, making it sound like they were, I don't like hurting them, it sounded, but in reality, it's not that. It was about hairstyles and cultures and how that they looked and perceived. So just the words of this, I was completely shocked. And I think that it is extremely important that we know how important words are and how people can perceive our culture from another perspective. Going into part 2 of this video, it discusses asks us to describe patterns, rituals, or events in U.S. cultural views that we may see that look normal, but from another country, not so much. So for my example of that, I'm gonna use Christianity because in the US, Christianity is vastly the majority of what people believe in, such as other cultures could be Buddhism, Hinduism, Jewish, and so forth. But going and discussing about how we perceive Christianity here may look normal to us, but from third world countries or other countries, it may look cultish, and that we may believe in things that really aren't real, because in Buddhism and Hinduism, they bow down to their shrines and so forth because they are believing something that they can see in. But us as Christians, we can't see God. It's fully based on faith, and they don't have an understanding of what that is. So as much as for us, I just explained that seeing isn't necessarily believing. That's when faith comes in, and other cultures faith or religion isn't faith-based. It's based off what they can see. Another thing is that when we go to church and we have one speaker or the pastor preaching to us, that can look quite cultish to other cultures around the world because we're listening to one person and we're obeying essentially what they're saying because of they're interpreting God's word to us. And I think that would be really hard for people to understand, and I can totally see that point of view, how it is. Going forward with talking about Christianity and cultures, as the more and more people come from overseas, the more diverse America becomes. So the more Christianity was our main faith-based here, but now that we have immigrants and such coming up from overseas, Buddhism and Hinduism and others are being incorporated into the US, and which gives us some more of a diverse culture from a religion standpoint. And I think that is very beneficial so that we can have an understanding of other people's religions, kind of from a first person view, I guess. But another thing saying is how it keeps moving up through. My evaluation to conclude this video is that I find Christianity extremely beneficial in our culture and how we depict and decipher values and norms of the world today, and how it's changed over time. According to the NPR Political Podcast, in 2020, the percentage of Christians was 64%, but dating back all the way to about the 50s, it was 90% of Christians. And thinking about how much of like our more diverse and more things our world has become, I believe that is like a sole factor of why that is happening. So now, therefore, the loss of Christianity in our world today has become detrimental, but I believe that it still is beneficial, but we are not putting it towards the practice that it used to be. Therefore, that is lessening peace within one another's and ourselves, and how we go about determining issues and going about them and solving them. So thank you for listening today, and I hope that you got something out of it and that I wasn't too all over the place, because I am a lot of the time.